So we are just demonstrating those cough droplets, and then I had made 2 videos in my driveway in front of my garage, and I'm going to play those. Hey, this is Dr. Kalia, and I'm just demonstrating simple. Unfortunately, I have cough right now. So I'm going to be coughing in the middle, but pretend like I'm a patient actually that's coughing out aerosolized air droplets that have contaminated mucus covering the pathogens that are causing disease. And right now, since we are in the middle of a corona, is a volume down. Since we are now in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, so we're going to focus on the coronavirus. So pretend like I have coronavirus and I am coughing, and we would show some pictures from off the stack from the internet. However, my intention originally, this is nothing fancy. This is our own driveway, and the backdrop is our own garage door. My original plan was to use a Windex bottle and sprayer and put some color dye in the water and try to spray that and demonstrate a red or a black color droplets. Unfortunately, that did not work out because the sprayer nozzle in there got plugged up with pigment. So we're going to use simple water bottle. And this is going to show you and demonstrate the various sizes of the droplets that are going to be coming out. So we're going to do that. This is number 1, 2, and 3. So can you please take a picture of these water droplets from nearby and focus on some of them? And you can see the size of these droplets is
It's really hard to see them.
Very hard.
I mean, you can see them,
okay,
but it's difficult.
Okay, just focus on close up on that one. That's all you can do. There you go. So we know that this is somewhat difficult to see, and just for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna these different sizes or colored droplets and just kind of randomly distribute them, and that would demonstrate various sizes of the droplets. And clearly some of them are going to be big ones, just like when patients are coughing droplets laden with pathogens, and some of them clearly, as you can see, this random distribution are small. And this is a little bit cheating in the experiment because our nozzle got plugged up and the clear water bottle doesn't really show the droplets. And you can stop that for a second. This is a demonstration. This is again Dr. Kalia. My original intention was to have a Windex bottle with a spray nozzle, fill with replace the Windex with colored pigmented water, but you had put enough colored pigment for the sprayer to show anything worthwhile on white paper. And if you put enough pigment, the nozzle gets blocked, and that's what happened over here. So I thought we'll use clear water. And this is to demonstrate that whenever somebody's coughing, not only are the majority of the droplets, of course, are going to settle down with gravity, but the lighter ones, which are 5 to 10 microns, are going to float around. So we're going to see if we can see something worthwhile with clear water. And again, with clear water, not having professional photography is hard. And this colored bottle, this is not working, so we're going to do a little pretend. We're going to pretend like we are spraying over here, even though I'm just doing this random distribution of the size of the cough droplets. And as you can see, some of the droplets are clearly much bigger and some of them are much smaller. And if this was a genuine spray bottle spraying over here, if there was just a little bit of air current, some of those droplets would clearly end up on the wall and high up on the roof as well. So this is just a simulation experiment that has not worked out perfectly, but it gives the general idea of what would be the distribution of these droplets as people are coughing in crowded areas. And we'll give further explanations in the with the PowerPoint presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you. So even though the previous demonstration experiments did not work out perfectly in the because the spray bottle uh, the nozzle of the spray bottle got plugged up and the aerosolization was not done. And as I showed with the stem of that aerosolizer from the Windex bottle, that whenever you spray, there would be a random distribution of air droplets, cough droplets, or spray bottle particles. Some of the droplets obviously are going to be big and some are going to be small. The bigger ones more than likely are going to land in front of the person who's coughing, and as they land, of course, they're going to contaminate the entire surface in front. And we already talked about doctors' offices, ER waiting rooms, grocery checkout counters, and very soon large theaters, stadiums, gymnasiums, etc. And very soon those smaller droplets that do not settle in the ground in the range of 5-10 microns are going to be floating around in the indoor air, even with minimal air currents from the air vents, and the indoor air is going to be contaminated with lethal viral air particles. For the time being, since we had some technical glitch, I'm going to label this as video number 6, comprising of slide number 21 and 22. And then this, of course, I'm on slide number 23. So as you can see, even though 80, 90, 95, or 99% of the droplets land in that 6 feet distance, and if the 6 feet distance was maintained in static, which is impossible because we don't live in a static world, we live in a dynamic world where people are moving around in grocery aisles. So even an error rate of 0.001% in that 6 feet model, once replicated hundreds of trillions of times, is going to produce the present disaster that we are living through. Air droplets in their size, ability to float, and ability to float in the air follow the classic bell curve. So the heavier droplets are going to clearly land, and the heaviest ones are going to land right in front of the person, but the lighter ones are going to float around. And this model might capture 80 to 99% of the droplets that would settle in front of the person who's coughing. But that still leaves maybe 1 or even 0.1% of the droplets that are going to float. And even the droplets that do land, like we mentioned, are going to contaminate. And I, being a doctor, have been sitting on a doctor's exam room. And on my desk, there is a desktop and a keyboard, which I feel are continuously being contaminated. And unfortunately, in the past, they were not contaminated with coronavirus. But nonetheless, we never really knew which viruses were contaminating my desktop and the keyboard. And those kind of things are impossible to clean. No matter how you clean, you cannot get into all nooks and crannies of the keyboards. And same thing happens at the checkout counters at the grocery stores, in theaters, stadiums, ER waiting rooms, or any other area where there is indoor air are going to become essentially contaminated. And even in outdoor surfaces where there are large density of crowded spaces, even a column of air about 7 feet tall, horizontal column, is going to become contaminated. And there are lines which are lined up outside grocery stores, etc. And recently I saw a video of thousands of people lined outside a grocery store. And essentially all that air, unless there is a tornado force wind blowing through and recirculating the air is going to become contaminated. And with that, people are going to become contaminated. And we are going to conclude this video number with the slide number 23, and then we'll resume from there on and pick up where we left off.